You have one unheard message. First unheard message sent yesterday at 7:15 p.m.
Hey, Kelly, it's Rich. Ty's about to fire someone, and I just have one question. How do we make sure this doesn't blow up in his face? Can you meet me at the gate?
I'm Rich Levine, and this is Meet Me at the Gate, where we're not just talking theory, we're tackling real-world problems head-on, driving solutions that supercharge productivity and team dynamics. Every episode is a journey towards improvement, empowering you, the manager, to lead with innovation and confidence. Join us to transform everyday roadblocks into highways for success.
So, I got the perfect story for you today.
Let's go.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
going to Tulsa to drop cars off. Got the guys back at the shop. This one new mechanic seems to be a pretty decent guy, but every time you ask him to do something, a lot of pushback with a lot of profanity. Like, whoa, dude, just asking you to do your job. It's been going on for 3 or 4 weeks. Pull him aside. Hey, you might work on that cussing and F you, and this is BS, and I might want to ease up on that because we'd like to have you stay here. So three pull asides. Now here's where Kelly comes in. No, I'll just finish the story. So anyway, 3 pull asides today in Tulsa. On the way to Tulsa, he's having a meltdown. We're far away from the shop. Okay, well, I think we're just gonna have to let you go. You're fired. That was the end of the story.
We were like,
Probably some pieces to it.
where are we going here?
So what are you trying to uncover here?
Yeah.
A little bit of a dominant behavior type, maybe?
Well, definitely dominant. It's terrible. And then it's one of those people that, I know we've all seen them, but they do just enough. Then they'll drop the ball a little bit, but then they'll pick it back up just enough. Never
Gets past.
Does that make sense?
Or makes a lot of improvement, right?
Kind of like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry about that. I'll do better tomorrow. And then tomorrow rolls around and maybe not quite better.
Did I say
It's
that?
a little bit more of the same.
I didn't say that yesterday.
Say what?
I said I was going to do better today. No, I was going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where Kelly comes in. Kelly, walk us through how to fire somebody.
Well, did you do it when they were off site?
Yeah, you were in
On the
Tulsa.
phone. Yeah.
I know. I was like, you fired someone when they weren't even around home. What are they going to do then?
Pack your stuff and go home. I'll be back in a couple hours, and I don't want to see you there.
But were they back at where were they? Do you know what I mean?
They
Like,
were at the shop. They were at the shop. I was not at the shop. So I'm away. They're supposed to be doing their job, and we keep getting stories that the job's not getting done.
Okay.
Well, they say when the cat's away, the mice play. So why were you not at the shop? That's going to be my question.
He was out with
Somebody had to move the cars. Somebody had to take the cars from the shop, Joplin, to Tulsa.
Isn't that what you hired this guy to do?
No, this is our mechanic. So we have a pretty significant size wholesaler that we do all of his mechanic and recon. So we're a mechanic recon shop also. So we've probably got 80 cars behind our shop that we do a inspection, find out what does it need. Here's your checklist, bam, 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 and we fix it. Then we detail it, and we put it on the truck, and we send it to go be sold. So we have at the shop, say 2 mechanics and a detail guy. We don't want them driving a truck and trailer. No, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. We thought
They stay at the shop and do the mechanic.
Driving to Tulsa. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I had to let him go. Nobody likes to fire anybody, right?
No. Yeah. No.
It's never pleasant for anybody.
No, because you're impacting.
So what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
I think we may have skipped some steps, Kelly.
Possibly. Was he surprised?
Very.
Then you did something wrong. Yeah. No one should ever be surprised.
Yeah.
Right? They shouldn't be surprised if they got fired, and if it's right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, you should have the conversations, right? It sounds like you did have some conversations, though, along the way of saying
We did.
You to do.
Where I think we dropped the ball was we didn't document the conversations with a signature and a date.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, you could do that. Some type of documentation. I think sometimes when you have that, then it's clear and they're able to clear it up. People interpret conversations differently, right? Depending on your disc.
So, let's talk about a couple things. Disc. We talk about disc because I want to get into that because a lot of people Corey, when he gets on the podcast, says, I'm a yellow. And other people are saying the same thing. Aaron, when he's on, says, I'm a blue. So I'm a red. But anyway, so two things. Let's cover this first when you talk about this write-up. Here's what I love to do and coach people on. So if you're a manager at an auction, you're a manager in this auto or marketing, you're a manager anywhere. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Set up one-to-one meetings with your direct reports. Okay. And then set up a cadence so it's on a regular basis, whether it's every Monday or every other Monday or whatever, once a month. Just have a routine. And you're going to sit down with them for probably 30 minutes the first time. If you set it up and you're doing really well with this, they'll probably start going faster. But then we'll get into behavior types and why some are longer than others. But anyway, so follow. So you're going to have this one-to-one with your mechanic, Ty. So you do this on a regular basis. And you're going to ask them 3 questions every time. And they're always the same. First question you ask them is, hey, Ty, how's it going? And then you're going to sit back and you're going to wait for the answer. Okay. And then you're going to say, hey, Ty, what's not working well? And ask them, you can say, how's it going? But you can say, what's working well? Let them talk about it. Hey, what's working well? So that's a better way to phrase question 1. After they answer that, then you go to number 2, what's not working well? And then again, just listen to it. And then the third question, final question is what can I do to help you? And then you write down what you're going to do and you build out an action item. I've got a worksheet. We can put it in the notes. We can get it so they can download it and you fill this out. Okay. So now you're doing this on a regular cadence. Let's just say it's once a month for ease. And now you've come to this point where you're ready to fire your mechanic. And then you can go to Kelly. Kelly, I want to fire the mechanic. Do you have it documented? Yes, I do. I have regular one-to-one meetings with Ty and I've covered all the stuff. Here's all the information. Bang, documented. Now, this is brilliant because it works both ways. I want to fire Ty. Kelly, here's all my information. Hey, Ty, Kelly, Ty's doing really well running this shop, and I want to promote him. I want to make him general manager. Do you have it documented? Matter of fact, I do. I've been meeting with Ty for the last 6 months, one-on-one. Here's all the stuff. Here's the action goals we've been doing. Here's what he's accomplished. Here's what's working. Here's how we're working together. Great. Hire him, move him on, give him a promotion. It works wonders. Now, where this doesn't work is when you don't do it.
Yeah, because I think I'm going to ask you why in both of those scenarios, right? Why is it not working? Why are you looking to term? And then your answer, and then if you ask them why it's not working, do they know? What's the barriers for them for doing their job or even a promotion? Tell me why, right? Like, what's the reasoning behind it? How are they doing? How are things going? So same questions.
Yep. And it starts building up the relationship and you start having the dialogue. Which then we can slide over to DISC. And I want to cover DISC because we're always covering this stuff on this podcast, but we're not really getting into it. So DISC, what does it stand for?
You tell us.
Driving
Did I screw the company?
Yes, it does. That's exactly what it stands for. All right, so D. So this is a behavioral model that helps us categorize different people's behaviors. So D is dominant. I is inspiring, S is steady, and C is compliant. It's pretty fancy, huh?
D, okay, one more time for the slow kids in the back.
D is for dominant.
Dominant. What color is D?
Red.
Red.
Okay. D is dominant, red. I.
Yellow.
Inspiring.
Oh, I is yellow and inspiring. Okay,
Yep.
got it. S is steady.
Bam.
Green.
Ooh, good job.
Did I get it right?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
you
Okay,
did.
you go, Tag, go.
And then you've got
Okay.
the last one,
Then
C.
you done that. C, compliant. Blue. Yep. Kelly.
Yep. Good guess.
Okay, one more time. DISC. D, dominant, red. I, hang on, don't tell me. Oh, not influential.
Yes.
Crap, help me.
That's it. Same thing.
Oh, it is?
It's a synonym, yep. Influential. Inspired.
Okay. Yellow, inspiring. And then S is for steady, green. C is compliant, blue. Got it.
Bam.
All right.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Gold star.
Okay, but within each one of these, so if you go dominant, red, then you start breaking down characteristics of what these are. Is that what you do?
Yep. So we can do it. So here's what I always do. And I don't know how good this is going to show up. I'll be able to put it on the thing. So I just drew a plus on the screen. Okay. So I'm going to fill this in. I'm good at cutting. So there we've got DISC.
Ooh.
Okay. And it went in clockwise.
Yeah.
So now we have what we call above the line and below the line on this horizontal plane. So up here, D's and I's are extroverts. Down here, S and C's are introverts. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. That's
Okay,
cool.
now, if we go over here to D and C on this side, these people see things. I's and S's see people or understand relationships. Things, people.
Hey, oh wait, hang on a minute. Let me see. C's below things, people. Okay, got it. I'm in.
So if I write it out like this really fast, things, people. Hopefully people are following. This is the easiest model I've ever come up with. Can't really read my writing, but there it is. Things, people.
Mhm.
And then what we do is we talk about pace of things. So D's like things really fast. So we're up here in this corner, fast. And as we come down here, we want slower. Actually, we go this way. The slowest is S. Fast, slow, medium on pace of their environment. D's like things done quickly. S's go slow and steady. S's don't like change. D's love change. They're opposites. They're on the opposite side. So now what happens is in the real world, most everybody has two of these in them that we like to use. One of them is more prominent. So, for example, we covered it with Kelly. Her most prominent one, C for compliance. Makes sense. You live in the world of working with people and you got rules and regulations for HR.
Yep.
I live up here in the red world where I like things to be quick, bright, gone, get out of my way. Ty, I think when I talk to you, I think you're a lot of the red as well. Now, what I also know about Ty is Ty also uses a lot of yellow energy. He loves people. He loves to be outgoing. So it kind of bounces back and forth. I, on the other hand, like things fast, but I also like them to be right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I do the D and the C. So this is what's fascinating because I've done a lot of work with Kelly, and she's what I call a unicorn because she loves to be down here in the blue with compliance. Very rarely do we make the letter X. But her second energy that she likes to use is yellow. So now we've got to pay attention closely to Kelly. Like, does she want us to be right or wrong? Or does she want us to be happy-go-lucky?
Yeah, very confusing.
And it can happen, but that's where this gets a little crazy.
Come on,
And
Kelly.
then the other unicorn is a D and an S. They do exist. I know 3 of them in the world that I've run through coaching on, where they're dominant and they're steady. They're fast and they're slow. They're outgoing and they're quiet. So you really got to figure out, you got to pay attention which energy they're using.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be aware of that too. Like that was when we talked about that, for me, it's super eye-opening of like, how am I showing up? And that must be like, I was like, that must be very confusing at times. And I think the role that I'm in makes sense as well. But it's important for us to show up, like to understand how we're showing up to people, especially when that drastic difference.
Yeah, you got to have, and so I'm going to put it the way I tell a lot of people and tell my story. I thought everybody was an idiot. So then I had to ask myself a question, a humbling question. How many people in the world are just like me? I'll wait for you to answer. I got all day. Exactly. Nobody. Zero. And who wants to be just like me? So that was kind of my aha moment. It's like, wait, I'm the idiot because you think that everybody else should think like I think. So that's when it started to open up the self-awareness for me. And now what I try to do every day is I know I'm dominant, and I also know I can be the C compliant blue, the red and the blue. And I'll run people over and I have to be right. But then I started thinking about, okay, self-awareness. What do you guys see? What do my employees see? What do my people I coach see? What do my family see when I do that? They see a jack.
Yeah. It's not.
So going back to your story about firing this mechanic, so number one, we got to figure out why he had zero self-awareness. He probably has no clue he's a jackwagon. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet he thinks that you're an idiot.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, says it out loud.
Oh, so you know for sure.
No question.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And so
stupid. You're an idiot. Why would the fuck would you do that? It's bullshit.
beep.
I mean, like,
So
to your face.
but that's where the self-awareness comes in. How am I showing up? What energy am I using? And there's good for all of these, right? If you need something done fast, go find a red. You
do
need
it.
somebody to bring energy into a party. You need to have like you were telling me about one time, Kelly, you were working at an all-employee holiday party, right? Where it's like you had to show up as your eye.
Right. Right. You have to do that, going in, right? And it is exciting. One of those things are exciting, but then there's other moments where I realize, right, I'm in my compliance and I probably look like I'm frustrated, right? And mad, but I'm just focused and I'm introverted at that point. But that's extreme, showing up at a party and then being like focused on details and risk and introvertedness is two completely different. So they're like, oh, are you okay? And of course, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm fine, right? Because I'm like happy and I feel normal and whatever. But it's that extreme difference is a big aha moment, right? Because of course, you're like, what's your problem? Yeah, I'm doing completely fine today, right? But it's actually, I'm the one that's showing up different, Yeah.
So let's take your situation or your behavioral profile. Being C and then also being I. If I'm having a meeting with you, I have to be very aware of how you are showing up. In addition, you have to be very aware on how you're showing up. And you got to play. That's when you start reading the body language. You start talking, and you go back. Okay, Kelly's showing up. What is her body language telling me? Do you have a cup of coffee there and maybe your morning muffin, and you want to talk for 5 minutes before we get into the thing? Or did you just come straight in? You got your laptop, nothing else. And now I'm looking and read the body language. Okay, now Kelly's in her blue zone because she just bought her laptop. She just wants to get straight down to work. If I show up and start being, oh, hi, Kelly, how was the weekend today? Yeah. You're ready to shoot me, aren't you? And that's with this disc stuff. It's not just about you. It's also about the other person. But now we got to marry it and let's meet them in the middle.
Yeah.
How do we manage it? Ty, dispatching trucks to go pick up cars. You probably want somebody that lives in the blue world, the compliant, right? You need to be there at noon. Your appointment's at noon. You need to take the three car trailer because you can't get a big one in there, and you have to do this, and this, and you have somebody that does it. Could you imagine if a yellow was running your dispatch?
Never did that.
Yellow personality. Oh, hey, Ty. Did you go to church yesterday? Oh, did you know Mrs. Anderson down the street in the blizzard? She drove her car off the road into the ditch. Did you see that? Did you hear about what happened at that auction across the street? You don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't want that if you're dispatching cars, do you? You're never going to get them done.
No. But you do have to know who you're talking to.
Yes.
So if you're dispatching more than one person, and maybe that's self-awareness. That's a gift, by the way. Good dispatchers are a gift. They have a gift from God. Like, wow, crazy.
Well,
It's talent. It's a talent.
yeah. It's a talent, but it's also a skill that you can develop, I'm guessing, right? You're not going to take a yellow and make them a good dispatcher, would be my guess.
Well, actually, I think I would rather have. It's really tricky because you have to understand you're dealing with a group of adult men who really aren't too excited about their dangerous job. And it's a dangerous job. And it's hard work. And they're usually mad about 98% of the time, like pissed mad. Car hauler guys. So if I would want a little yellow in my dispatcher because you have to be able to make these guys smile. You have to be able to distract them a little bit from whatever their current problem is. Hey, it's okay. You know does that make sense?
It does. My question would be though, would a yellow be happy in that role?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right.
Because all you do all day long is hear trouble.
And maybe if they're about the people and the people around them are all frustrated, that might be tiring after a while for that individual. Maybe they could do it, right? But are they going to be engaged and are they going to be motivated? I'm not sure. I mean, everyone can do anything, but is long term, is that what's going to be the best?
Yeah. Where do you get your energy, I guess? Where do you get your energy? Because you'll be giving a lot away as a dispatch.
Right.
A lot of energy.
Yeah.
So here's a great question. So let's put Kelly in that role. I'm hiring for it. And this is really, really difficult to figure out unless you actually give somebody a full-blown DISC assessment, which I can sell to you and help you coach you through it. But anyway, so we know that Kelly lives in the compliant and the inspiring, so the blue and the yellow world. So we just touched on, hey, we'd like to have a blue because it needs to be right, but we need somebody with some yellow. So now we've hired Kelly and we put it in there. Explain to, I think you've touched on what happens when you have to use both energies from the opposite ends. Not only do you have to be right, but you got to keep it.
It can be tiring. It can be exhausting. Yeah. To try to figure out, I mean, because I don't know, for me, I think it's true to myself, but it can be tiring because I do feel like it's very opposite sometimes. So it's which one is going to be the motivator and what do you gain energy? And that requires a whole nother self-awareness aspect and component to it is me really thinking about what makes me engaged and happy and motivated and how do I get that fulfillment and how do I recharge my energy? So yeah, maybe I would be a great dispatcher though. I don't know. So you try to get me.
And it's tough because not very often do you find people that live in that opposite, what I call the unicorns. I mean, from the X, when we make the X on my little diagram. So if you're going to go out and you're going to hire this person, you got to, I mean, obviously we use more than one energy. And there's benefits and drawbacks to both sides. So let's talk about sales, because sales is one I love talking about. If you're going to hire a salesperson, what usually works for sale? Let's do it this way: process of elimination. Going back to our chart, which one would you eliminate and say, if they show up in this world, I probably do not want to hire them as a salesperson?
Blue.
Yeah, because what are they going to do when you're selling?
Make sure all the T's are dotted, all the...
Well, so a trade of blues, they like a lot of information. They usually like more information. I mean, they could be, I fell into this because I fall in the blue world and I've done sales and I've had the salespeople and I get outside, they're like, Rich, did you not see that you should have went in for the close? And here I am, keep asking more questions. I don't know when to close, right? So you really probably don't want a blue to be in there. Now, just logically thinking, if you're doing sales, where would you want to go? The things side or the people side?
People.
Yeah. So who would be your first hire if you want somebody, an I or an S?
I influence, what was the right word though?
Inspiring.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Inspiring yellow.
Yeah.
I love you, yellow.
I love you. Yellow. So, and they're good. They're outgoing. A tendency with I's though sometimes, and I would hire an I to be a salesperson, don't get me wrong, but they have a tendency to be egotistical. So if they're going out doing sales, they walk into your office building, they open the door and they're like, hi, it's Rich, I'm here. It's like, okay, we know you're here. It's like, come on. You don't need to tell everybody. But they have a tendency that when they walk in the room, they want to steal the show. And they believe it's their God-given talent to do so. And I do like them. But now, what I have experienced in my career, usually the best salespeople are the greens, the steady. But not just any green.
Oh, interesting.
It's got to be a green that can be engaging and ask great questions. Greens are your best listeners.
I was just going to say the listening aspect of it, because they're not going to talk over you.
Yep. Yeah. If you can find a green that's got enough outgoing energy in them, so enough I in them to walk into it, wherever it is you're selling, to start asking questions, they can become really, really good because they're patient. They're steady. They're calm. They don't get wound up. Okay. Eyes can get wound up and become, maybe, I'm just going to say it, a little bit of a drama king or a drama queen, depending on which world they live in, how they want to identify. But we don't need drama in sales. All right, so let's do another one to help managers. You're going to hire somebody in your accounting team. Which kind of behavior type would you like to have on your accounting team?
Go, Kelly.
I was going to say, I was like, I already know the answer. I would say...
okay, let's eliminate. Let's do like we did the other one. Process. Who would you not want counting your money?
A red, maybe? Well, I would say the eyes all again.
Yeah, the eyes. Because with an eye, the eyes are happy-go-lucky. Oh, it's close enough. Let's just move on. We're within $20 on the ledger. Just move on. It's all good. Let's go. No, that's really not going to work in an audit. So if you don't want an I, usually what you do is you eliminate and you go to the opposite. What's the opposite of an I on the X?
C.
Bam. So you get somebody that lives in the compliant. Accountants typically fall into that blue behavior model. So when you walk into the accountant's office and you say, hey, I need a check to pay the vendor. How much is it for? Do you have a W-9? Did you get their blah, blah, blah? I mean, they're going to ask you all these questions. Do you have backup? Do you have a contract? Do you have a service agreement? That's a blue's job, but that's also typical of blue behavior. Ask more questions until you prove that something is factually accurate. Look at Ty. So now you're doing compliance for a trucking company. You need to go out. You've got 100 big rigs driving all over the United States, 18-wheelers. You got DOT number. Which personality type do you want to hire to handle your insurance, your compliance, and make sure all your logs are accurate?
Blue.
Bam. See? There's a place for everybody. Now, so here's the other thing I want to say. The most popular of all these groups by population is S. There are more greens in the world than any other color. Now, it's not significant, but greens also don't like change. They're very quiet. And if you're in an organization and you're leading people and you're trying to, when you lead, you usually have to put in change, right? That's why you're hired. If you didn't need to change anything, you wouldn't need a leader. Who's usually the first one to resist? Why is it always hard to get so many people converted over? Because they're green.
Those are greens. Okay.
And it takes a while. They're steady. They don't like change. Don't rearrange the office. Don't move the desk. Make sure the computer stays the same. That's the things that will tee them off.
They probably really love Auto IMS.
Greens, yeah, because it's just steady email, steady data. It's always the same. It hasn't changed since 1998 when it came out.
Love Auto IMS. My favorite.
For anybody that doesn't get the inside joke on that, you have to go back and watch the last two podcasts that are out. And then you're going to die laughing.
Oh, boy. Poor Auto IMS.
I love those guys at Auto IMS.
Oh, boy.
All right, so that's kind of a wrap on our first podcast on DISC on trying to help them. I mean, hopefully we've got some managers that we can help out. If anybody wants to do a free DISC assessment, I've got one on my website. I'll drop a link in the notes, richardlevine.com. You can go click on there. And now my freebie is very simple. It's only going to pull out one color. Again, remember, most people use 2, and then the next one is 3, and then 1, and nobody uses 4. Nobody can use all 4. We use them all. We just have preferences, and there's one we just usually don't like to use. For me, I'm working really hard on it, but steady, S, is my least used energy. But I'm trying to do and find my inner calm. But here's what's happened. Like, I have this awareness now because I know that I can be a little in your face sometimes and get going at people. It's like, all right, what's the opposite of that? It's green. I got to slow down. Ty, you've never told me that.
He's never. He's like, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, I've always been dumping gas on me. Keep going.
That would be red.
Again.
That'd be red behavior on red behavior, which can be dangerous. It can be fun. You put 2 reds in a room, and if they agree, you're going to get a lot done. It probably won't be 100% compliant, but it's going to get done. It's going to get done quickly. You put 2 eyes, 2 yellows on a project together, and I promise you nothing's going to get done. No one's ever going to make a decision. They'll probably have the biggest barbell because they're going to have a party.
Stories, they're going to know a lot about each other.
Oh, they'll know everybody, too. They won't get anything done, but they'll know everybody.
Yeah.
We send all the yellows to the conference.
And they get nothing done. There's a lot of yellows in the conference. Yes, there are. And then you put 2 S's together, 2 steadies, 2 greens. Remember, they're green. I always like to symbolize that with peacekeeping. You know, green's kind of a peaceful color. And they're not going to get much done either because, neither one's going to say anything to the other one because they might upset them, and they don't want to upset them. Perfect story. Let's cover a real quick story before we go. Kelly and I were doing a road trip with a different organization one time, and we had an after-hour event where they had an open bar, and Kelly and I had ran through this together, and we had done the DISC assessment with everybody, and we identified all who they are. Mm-hmm. We had one really, really strong green personality in our group. So we go, and greens are steady, slow. Sometimes he's the last one to get there. Bartender's making drinks and beers and whatever, and everybody ordered. I believe it was a mixed drink. I think it was.
I think it was old fashioned.
An old fashioned, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she had made the bartender make 3 or 4 old fashions. Well, in walks this gentleman after she had made them all, and last one in, and he goes, "Golly, I really would love to have an old fashioned, but she's put everything away and she's washed all the mixing glasses. I think I'll just have a beer." Interfere, because the green doesn't want to upset the status quo.
Right. Yeah.
Kelly grabs him and says, "Look, if you want an old fashioned, just walk up there and order one." "Oh no, I can't do that. She's got everything put away." And I don't remember what happened.
I'll order it for you. We will get this drink for you. Get what you want. No. It's fine. Yeah. Yep.
So when you put those greens together, they just don't want to upset anybody. This gentleman was afraid that he was going to upset the bartender because she had washed everything and was going to have her do it again. It's no, you're the customer. And then the last one I didn't cover when we put them together, blue on blue. Usually doesn't end well for anybody because blues have to be right just by nature. So however they're using their knowledge, whether they love book knowledge or they love intellectual or instinctive knowledge, they have to be right. So if they walk in together and they start talking and they get off on the wrong foot, it gets ugly fast because they just both have to be right in their brain. And neither one of them wants to admit the other one might know more than them because I can't possibly. You're blue. You know what?
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Meet Me at the Gate. I hope the conversations help to fuel your drive and equip you with insights to steer your team towards success. Remember, the road to success is always under construction. And until next time, keep your engines revving and your gas tanks full.